Hey everyone, and welcome back. So actually I wasn't even going to do a video today because unfortunately my schedule this week, especially today, is really nuts, but I completely spaced that it is indeed the last Friday of the month, which obviously means we get the next next group of Arrow announcements. So it's obviously I needed to somehow squeeze a video in today, and indeed I am. So we are up to the November titles for Arrow, but before I cover those, I do want to mention real quick, I do actually have a couple of titles. I mean, we've already known they're coming. I think I've mentioned them in the past. Still don't have final details or even technically an actual release date. I think it's in November for all three, but I could be wrong. But there are pre-orders already going to come up, so I'm actually going to mention them in either case. So for these next three titles, I believe they're all coming from Warner Brothers. There's going to be both a standard release and a separate steelbook release. And so first up is Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest getting a 4K release, which I'm really excited about, long overdue for a 4K upgrade of that one. And next up, and I don't say this lightly, a film that definitely could not be made today, sadly, but I am glad it still exists, and it is indeed Mel Brooks. The Mel Brooks classic Blazing Saddles. And same thing, standard release with a steelbook. And then finally, as I mentioned this before, we're getting closer. Again, standard release with a steelbook release of the original Terminator, getting a new 4K release. And out of the three, that's the only one I'm a little worried about, only because of some of the AI stuff that I don't know will be present on this transfer or not. Obviously, that was present on was it The Abyss, Aliens, and True Lies. Discussion for another time once we get closer to release, or once actually that release actually comes out. We can talk about that more. I'm hoping that's not the case here, but I got to keep my expectations in check. So again, waiting final details on all three of those, and once I do have them, I will cover them in another video. Also, this weekend, at least here in the States, it's Labor Day weekend, and we actually do have a Vinegar Syndrome sale going on this weekend. It runs through Monday night, actually ends at 11:59 Eastern Monday night. And much like some of their previous sales, they are actually adding some new stuff each day around noon. So that's 12 o'clock Eastern. Make adjustments as they did. So for example, I'm in Central Time, so that's technically 11 a.m. for me. But specifically, they're actually putting up a lot of out of print titles. So it's definitely worth checking out and kind of going back each day to see what they have. And Sunday, which will be September 1st, we should also get the September titles for Vinegar Syndrome, which I will cover on another video, but definitely wanted to give you guys the heads up about the sale running throughout the weekend. And now we get to the Arrow titles for November. So as much as I hate to do this, I probably will skip through a lot of the extras, just as a heads up, only because I am in a time crunch today. But let's see, so we have a couple of titles. One of them is UK only, one of them is US and Canada only, but then the other three, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, the other 4 are luckily UK, US, and Canada. So let's do the one UK only one. Now that is a Blu-ray, so that is going to be region B locked. Coming, let's see, November 4th. Is the Blu-ray edition of the movie At Close Range, starring Sean Penn and Christopher Walken, retailing for £24.99, up for pre-order, at least from the Arrow site, for £18. We'll have a couple of nice extras, including a new commentary track, an archival commentary track with director James Foley, some new interviews, some archival interviews, an isolated score track, as well as trailer and image gallery. And again, that one is UK only. Next up, let's see, before we get to the 4K stuff, there's one more Blu-ray. Luckily, it is a Blu-ray that is for all of us. So for the UK, US, and Canada, we are getting the next box set in the Shaw Brothers film library, and it is indeed the Shawscope Volume 3. So there are 14 films in this set, and I'm going to cover sort of an overall thing, and then I'll get into the specifics. So set for November 26th, retailing for $199.99, for pre-order, at least from the Arrow site, for 150, has 14 of their films, 13 of which do have new 2K restorations. Box set will have a 60-page collector's, they call it a booklet, I swear. Those things are books. A ton of extras on like each, like commentary tracks, behind the scenes, interviews, like the whole 9 yards. And it also has a CD of music from the DeWolf Music Library, as heard in several of the Shaw Brothers classics. And what's cool about that is, of course, the DeWolf, for some of us anyway, is the DeWolf Music Library, which is a library of music that you could license music from. And George Romero was very fond of them, so a lot of their music actually did make it into a lot of his early films. In fact, and there's a couple of these, I think some of the Shaw Brothers films specifically, where you'll actually hear, you know, music that it's just like, wasn't that in like Dawn of the Dead or something? So it's just kind of funny, but I'm actually glad it does have the CD. So it's a 10-disc set. Now the 10th disc is the CD, so it's actually 9 Blu-rays. So dive right in. So disc 1 has the movie One-Armed Swordsman with a new restoration, including a new commentary track, some various interviews, and appreciation of the director, video essay including trailers and things like that. Moving on to disc 2, which has a return of the One-Armed Swordsman, as well as the new One-Armed Swordsman, new 2K restorations on both films, a new commentary, 2 new commentary tracks, as well as trailers. Disc 3 has The Lady Hermit and Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan, 2K restorations for both of those from the original negatives, 3 new commentary tracks, including an alternate English credits sequence, as well as theatrical trailers on both films. Disc 4 has the 14 Amazons, also with a new 2K restoration, a new commentary track, and some interviews, as well as a trailer. Disc 5 has The Magic Blade and Clans of Intrigue, new restorations on both films, 2 new commentary tracks, as well as an alternate version of Clans of Intrigue via seamless branching, featuring 4 extended scenes previously censored for explicit material, as well as theatrical trailers for both films. Disc 6 has Jade Tiger and the Sentimental Swordsman with new restorations, 2 new commentary tracks, and the trailers for both films. Disc 7 has The Avenging Eagle and Killer Constable with new restorations on both films. Looks like 4 commentary tracks, obviously split up between the 2 films, some additional alternate scenes, as well as theatrical trailers for both. Disc 8 has Buddha's Palm and Bastard Swordsman with new restorations, new commentary tracks on each film, as well as theatrical trailers for both films. And then Disc 9 is an extra disc with a bunch of even more bonus features, including a high-def version with standard definition VHS inserts, presentation of the rare Korean version of Killer Constable with newly translated English subtitles, featuring over half-an-hour exclusive alternate footage never released outside South Korea before. That's a very cool extra. Plus, it has a bunch of new interviews with and appreciations as well, and so there's a lot here to dive into. And again, disc 10 in the set is that CD soundtrack. So as you can, just like their other sets, I mean, this thing is just loaded. And again, this is set for November 26th. All right, next up we got one more Blu-ray before we get to the 4Ks, and this one is also coming to the UK, US, and Canada, and it's a Blu-ray release of the Japanese film Tomie, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, set for November 19th, retailing for $39.99, up for pre-order, at least from the Arrow site, for $28. Have a new commentary track along with a couple of new interviews and the trailer and an image gallery. And this is cool that this one is getting a release. So yeah, so that one again, Blu-ray, but it's UK, US, and Canada. So again, we can all get that one. So now we move on to the, was it 3 4K releases? 3 4K releases. One of these is US and Canada only. So I'm going to actually do that one first. So this will be a 4K release or a separate Blu-ray release, but it is US and Canada only. So coming November 19th, retailing for $49.99. The 4K release is up for pre-order for $35 from the Arrow website. And it's the movie, it's Sam Raimi's A Simple Plan, starring Bill Paxton, Bridget Fonda, and Billy Bob Thornton. So this is actually a really cool release. So it's getting a new 4K remaster from the original camera negative. Live, approved by Sam Raimi. Being 5.1, have a new commentary track with, let's say, a couple of commentary tracks, a new interview with the cinematographer, a new interview with actor Becky Ann Baker, a new interview with actor Chelsea Ross, on-set interviews with, at the time, obviously with Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Bridget Fonda, Sam Raimi, and producer Jim Jacks, behind-the-scenes footage, and the theatrical trailers. This is actually a cool one. It's fun. I was actually just thinking about this film not too long ago, so I'm actually glad it's coming out, and especially coming from Arrow, and also a 4K release. And if you've never seen A Simple Plan, definitely worth checking out. It's one where Sam Raimi definitely kind of stepped out of his usual things, and even stylistically, it's a little bit more subdued. But I mean, in a good way though, not in a bad way. And yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, so looking forward to revisiting that one. And then the next two 4K releases are UK, US, and Canada, so we can all get them. Luckily, first up is a 4K release of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, getting a 4K upgrade, set for November 12th, retailing for $49.99 up for pre-order, at least from the Arrow website, for $35. It's getting a new 4K restoration by Arrow, and it looks like it's porting over all the extras from their Blu-ray release from a few years ago. So a nice thing about that is obviously you're not missing out on anything, but it's also why there isn't a Blu-ray release, because of course they've already put it out on Blu-ray. So it is 4K only, but a nice thing about Arrow, which again I wish more companies would, all the extras are also on the 4K disc. It's definitely a nice way to kind of simplify things. Moving on finally to the last one, which is an interesting one. It's a 4K release and a separate Blu-ray release for the UK, US, and Canada of the movie The Invasion, which was yet sort of another Invasion of the Body Snatchers telling, but slightly different. This one starring Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. So this is an interesting release. Let's see, set for November 12th, retailing for $49.99, up for pre-order right now, at least again from the Arrow site, for $35. It's getting it's a 4K presentation, so I'm guessing, is this a Paramount title? This might be a Paramount title, which case probably just getting the transfer directly from Paramount, probably. Being 5.1, have a new commentary track, as well as a new visual essay, a couple of new visual essays, and then a lot of archival featurettes from 2007 from when the film came out, including some behind the scenes and things like that, as well as theatrical trailer and an image gallery. So an interesting one for them to put out. And actually, I think I've only seen this film once, and it was a long time ago. I don't really even remember that much about it. So yeah, probably have to check it out again, because as some of you know, I love specifically the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and also the movie Body Snatchers from 1993, I think, the Abel Ferrara film. Love that one. Wish that would get a 4K upgrade. But anyway, so yeah, another one to add to the Body Snatcher list of movies, and also another one that is coming out in November from Arrow. So that's it for the Arrow announcements for November. Again, I'm sorry I did have to skip very quickly through some of the extras, but yeah, hopefully you guys kind of got an idea that, I mean, it's Arrow, so it's going to come with a lot of good stuff. So let me know your thoughts on any of these announcements. Again, especially with some of the first three, I believe they're from Warner Brothers, I'll cover those once we get more details with Terminator, Blazing Saddles, and North by Northwest. Hop on over to the Vinegar Syndrome website and check out their sale going out throughout the weekend. Again, check back each day around midday to see what else they added. And of course, on the 1st, we'll get the September titles up for pre-order, which I will cover in another video. But obviously, if you're on the website, you're going to see it before I can make that video. Anyway, all right. So yeah, so let me know your thoughts on all these. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.